The Battle of the Atlantic was the longest and one of the most decisive campaigns of the Second World War, lasting from September 1939 to May 1945. It was not fought on land or in the skies, but across the cold, unforgiving waters of the North Atlantic Ocean, a vast battlefield where the outcome of the entire war was at stake. The struggle was simple in purpose, yet monumental in consequence. The Allies needed to keep their vital supply routes open from North America to Britain, while Nazi Germany sought to sever these lifelines and starve Britain into submission. When the war began, Britain stood isolated on the western edge of Europe, dependent almost entirely on supplies of food, oil, and weapons from across the Atlantic. Realizing this vulnerability, Adolf Hitler and his naval commander, Grand Admiral Karl Dönitz, launched a relentless campaign of submarine warfare. German U-boats, silent predators lurking beneath the waves, began hunting Allied merchant ships in deadly packs known as wolf packs. By attacking at night and from beneath the surface, they sank ships faster than the Allies could replace them. During the early years, especially between 1940 and 1942, the Atlantic became a graveyard. Ships burned on the horizon, sailors froze to death in the icy waters, and Britain's supplies of food and fuel dropped dangerously low. Each merchant ship that went down meant hundreds of tons of wheat, ammunition, and oil lost forever beneath the waves. The morale of the British people faltered as rationing tightened, and Prime Minister Winston Churchill later admitted that the U-boat threat was the only thing that truly frightened him during the war. But the tide of battle slowly began to turn. The Allies responded with innovation and determination. New technologies like ASDIC, early sonar, and radar allowed Allied ships to detect U-boats lurking in the depths. Aircraft were equipped to patrol longer distances, closing the once vulnerable mid-Atlantic gap where no air cover had existed before. Meanwhile, the brilliant code breakers at Bletchley Park, led by Alan Turing and his team, succeeded in cracking the German Enigma code, revealing U-boat positions and planned attacks before they even happened. This secret intelligence, known as Ultra, became one of the Allies' most powerful weapons. By 1943, the tide had fully turned. The Allies introduced escort carriers, long-range bombers, and new anti-submarine weapons, transforming the hunters into the hunted. In May 1943 alone, known to German submariners as Black May, over 40 U-boats were destroyed in a single month. From that point onward, the German Navy never recovered its strength in the Atlantic. Convoys began reaching Britain in safety, bringing with them tanks, aircraft, food, and men, all essential for the coming liberation of Europe. As the war drew to a close in 1945, the Atlantic was once again an Allied ocean. Over 3,500 merchant ships and 175 Allied warships had been lost, along with more than 70,000 sailors and civilians. The Germans lost over 780 U-boats and 30,000 submariners, nearly three-quarters of their entire U-boat force, the highest casualty rate of any service during the war. The Battle of the Atlantic proved that victory in modern warfare depended not just on soldiers and weapons, but on logistics, intelligence, and sheer human endurance. It was a silent, grinding struggle fought in icy waters, where courage was measured not in medals, but in survival. And in the end, the perseverance of those who fought the longest battle of the war ensured that freedom would one day return to the shores of Europe.